Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, is a driving force behind a push by the Trump administration to allow for states to institutionalize disabled Americans instead of requiring them to put them into community-based settings.
When a Jew is in charge of something like this, it becomes almost inconceivable that someone who knows these values could then go ahead and construct a policy like this and put it into action.
Stephen Miller, just hearing that name probably makes a lot of people roll their eyes already. He's been behind some of the most controversial policies in recent years, but somehow people are saying this might be even worse. We're talking about a push that critics say could send disabled people back into institutions. Yep, institutions, in 2026. And if that wasn't shocking enough, his own childhood rabbi, someone who actually knew him growing up, is now speaking out and painting a pretty disturbing picture of who Miller has always been. At this point, this isn't just another political fight. It's about basic human dignity. A lot of people feel like we're watching decades of progress get chipped away right in front of us. And honestly, the more you dig into it, the harder it is to look away.
You have to take up this moral slack that has this moral void that is now gaping in front of us that we need to fill it up with justice.
For years, disabled people have had to fight for things that should have never been a fight in the first place. Going to school with everyone else, living in their own homes instead of being shut away somewhere, having jobs, making friends, being part of their communities, just living a normal life. None of those rights were simply handed to them. People spent decades fighting for them. And now a lot of people are scared that all of that could slowly start disappearing. So why is everyone suddenly talking about this? Well, last month, the Department of Education announced that it would hand oversight of special education over to the Department of Health and Human Services. And that's where another name enters the picture, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, you've probably already heard people arguing over some of the things he said about disabilities, especially autism. Those comments upset a lot of families and disability advocates who felt he was talking about disabled people like they were something that needed to be fixed, instead of people who deserve support and respect. Then things got even more concerning. After the White House called for tougher action on homelessness, the Department of Justice released new guidance that, according to disability rights groups, could make it easier for some people with disabilities to end up in institutions. The government says it's about safety and getting people the care they need, but that's not how everyone sees it. A lot of people are worried that, for their own good, could become an excuse to take away someone's freedom. And if you followed disability rights over the years, you already know why that phrase makes people nervous. It wasn't that long ago that thousands of disabled Americans were kept out of sight, separated from everyone else, with little say over their own lives. That's exactly why so many people are speaking up now. They feel like history could be repeating itself, and they don't want to wait until it's too late to say something. But here's the thing, guys, we're not buying it, not even a little bit. You can call it care, you can call it safety, you can package it however you want, but that doesn't change what a lot of people believe is really happening here. To them, this isn't about helping disabled people. It's about taking away their right to live the same lives everyone else gets to live, and they're not the only ones saying that. Celine Almazan, the legal director for the Council of Parent Attorneys and Advocates, put it perfectly. She said, "I can't imagine that as a country that would be something that we would agree we should go back to." And honestly, she's got a point. For decades, the country has been moving away from institutions, not back toward them. Since the 1960s, new laws and court decisions have opened more doors for disabled people, giving them the chance to go to school, live in their own communities, and build independent lives instead of being shut away from everyone else. That's been the goal all along. So why are we suddenly talking about going backward? And if you're wondering whose name keeps coming up in all of this, again, it's Stephen Miller. According to reports, Miller wasn't happy that the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division was still reaching agreements that helped move people with mental illness out of institutions and back into community-based care. Reports also say Miller believed those agreements, including one reached with South Carolina back in December, would only make homelessness worse and didn't line up with President Trump's executive order pushing cities and states to move more homeless people into treatment centers. And that's why a lot of people think this conversation goes way beyond disability rights. To them, it's about who gets labeled as a problem that needs to be managed. Today, it's people with disabilities. Tomorrow, it's homeless people. That's the fear people keep talking about. Once you start making it easier for the government to decide who should be removed from society for their own good, where does that line end?
And we mentioned that Stephen Miller's uncle in the report. His name is David Glosser, and he recently wrote a piece for Politico in which he said he watched with dismay and increasing horror as his nephew became the architect of immigration policies that repudiate the very foundation of the family's life in this country.
But then, this story takes a really unexpected turn, because one of the people speaking out against Stephen Miller isn't a political opponent. It's actually the rabbi who knew him when he was growing up. Rabbi Neil Camise Daniels has publicly criticized Miller before, especially over his role in shaping the Trump administration's immigration policies. During a Rosh Hashanah sermon, he didn't hold back. He said Miller was spreading negativity, violence, malice, and brutality. He also condemned the policy of separating families at the southern border, saying it went completely against Jewish law and values. And then he said something that really stuck with people. He looked directly at Miller's upbringing and basically said, "You didn't get our message." Imagine hearing that from the person who helped teach you your faith as a kid. He was essentially saying that somewhere along the way, Stephen Miller walked away from the values he was raised with: compassion, kindness, caring for other people. In his eyes, those lessons never really stuck. And whether you agree with the rabbi or not, hearing something like that from someone who actually watched you grow up, that's the kind of criticism that hits differently.